So let's start with this wonderful, wonderful speech. He was in Poland, and it was remarkable. You could compare it to, and it has been, Pope John Paul and his speeches to Poland, and JFK and Ronald Reagan. And I think it's true. I mean, he really went right where everybody who is involved in this, right where they live. Cut 5, please.
As a matter of economic security and national security for the survivability of the planet, we all need to move as quickly as possible to clean, renewable energy. And we'll work together to help get that done.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's right. He also was talking about Ukraine and NATO and what was happening with Ukraine. And I think what's great is what he ended it with. Now, listen how awkward this is. Usually you leave on a happy note. President Biden decided not to. Here it is.
Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia, for free people refused to live in a world of hopelessness and darkness. We will have a different future, a brighter future, rooted in democracy and principles, hope and light, of decency and dignity, of freedom and possibilities. For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
Okay. All right. So that was weird. Apparently not in the speech. I don't know if you can trust that or not, but let me refresh your memory on the Gorbachev-Reagan speech. While he was in Berlin, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. That went back and forth with the State Department. He said, I'm saying it. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Wait a minute. It's like that Bugs Bunny routine. It was taken out of the speech 3 times. It was not in the teleprompter, and he knew right where he wanted to say it. And he wrote it. It was him. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Now, that was not a Mr. Gorbachev, somebody needs to overthrow you. Quite different. But the State Department was against that because it would cause all kinds of problems, they thought. And it did. It did. Unfortunately for the Soviet Union, not for the rest of the free world. It freed the world. Now, this was, it seems like an ad lib because you wouldn't have put that at the end of the speech. But Mr. Mental Agility couldn't find a place to put that into the speech. So just at the end, he's like, the whole time. Now think about this. If it was an ad lib, the whole time he's thinking, this guy can't be in power. This guy can't be in power. And he can't find a place to put it in the speech, so he just adds it to the end. Now, is it possible that that's what he really thinks? Well, let's remember, Joe Biden is known for leading his staff. He's known for whatever the policy is they're working on. Do you remember the homosexual marriage thing? We know that the White House was working on a draft to announce, they were for gay marriage, yada, yada. And Joe Biden just came out on some weekend and went, I'm always for gay marriage. That's where we need to be. And the White House was a little pissed. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's done that kind of thing several times where he leads the staff. He just blurts it out.
Oh, I mean, this conflict began around that whole situation where he said a minor incursion might not be that big of a deal.
Right.
This is the same type of moment.
Right. So if he's thinking this, and this is an ad lib, what does that mean? Now, let me give you some additional stuff. There's a possibility he's just completely senile. And that's a discussion we should have, because if he's that out of control, he should not be the president of the United States. I honestly don't think that's it. I think he has a different point of view. And let me make the case here. First of all, this strengthens Putin. Horrible, horrible idea. Horrible idea. But also, in his framing, he is also framing this as democracy versus autocracy. This is a theme of his first year, his nightmare year. This is one of the first things that stood out to me in his first speech from the well of the Senate, when he told all of the people sitting there in the Capitol that you were the people that made the world a better place, that they were the people that got us through this pandemic, not the American people, the people in power. And then he twice, maybe three times, questioned democracy versus autocracy. So he's going for a bigger thing. He's not going for the Putin getting out of Ukraine. He's going for something much, much bigger. Case in point, did you see the weird tweet that came out from his office? He's not on Twitter. I don't even think he knows how to work the phone. He's like, the phone doesn't have that little grinder there on the side where my gaffe, give me 8 1,000. What? So I don't think he knows how to work any kind of phone sitting on the pot, tweeting. Listen to this. We are engaged in a new great battle for freedom, a battle between democracy and autocracy, between liberty and repression. This battle will not be won in days or months either. We need to steel ourselves for the long fight ahead. Wow. What does he see coming? Now, Blinken came out this weekend and said, that's not what he means. I suggest it is. Because what was the other problem? What was the other thing that he said this weekend while he was over there? He made several things that they had to walk back, but they were all in exactly the same direction. Let's play cut 13.
Now, but the Ukrainian people have a lot of backbone. They have a lot of guts, and I'm sure you're observing it. And I don't mean just the military, which is we've been trained in since back when Russia moved into in the southeast Ukraine, but also the average citizen. Look at how they're stepping up. Look at how they're stepping up. And you're going to see when you're there, and some of you have been there, you're going to see women, young people standing in the middle in front of a damn tank, just saying, I'm not leaving. I'm holding my ground. They're incredible.
All right, okay.
They take a lot of inspiration from us. And a woman who just died, the Secretary of State, used to have an expression. She said, we are the essential nation. It sounds like a bit of hyperbole, but the truth of the matter is, you are the organizing principle around which the rest of the world the free world is moving.
Okay, stop. There's three things here. First of all, let me take down the obvious kind of essential one going to his mind state. That woman that just died, that would be Madeleine Albright, but he couldn't recall her name, that woman who just died. Okay. So that makes a case he doesn't know what the hell he's even talking about, which is a conversation we should have. But let's look at this as maybe he does know what he's talking about. He just has no filter on it. When he suggested that the troops that were stationed in Poland, that they would witness the bravery of the American people when you're there, he immediately followed it with, and a lot of you have already been there. But that doesn't make sense. Now, I dismiss this as an old man gaffe when I first heard this, but this was one of the first big gaffes they had to walk back. So I dismiss this as just, it's just an old man gaffe. Well, doesn't that fit with he has to be removed? And doesn't the world looks to you, the soldier, you are the organizing principle that the world is being built around? Those fit. So I'd like to give the president the benefit of the doubt. But if I'm on the opposing side, if I'm advising Putin, because this is what they have to do, what is this president even saying? Is he incompetent, or is he revealing what their real intention is? I would say, if I were advising Russia, I don't know, Mr. President, but I think that there is a pattern here. Just look at what his Twitter feed said. Again, it doesn't mean that he's not senile, but my case to you is he's revealing the things that are coming. And how do we know? Well, those were all crazy off-the-cuff clips, but they're all consistent for a bigger, longer war. All right, maybe he's just thinking that himself, but nobody else is. Then why would the White House tweet, "We are engaged in a new great battle for freedom, a battle between democracy and autocracy, between liberty and repression. This battle will not be won in days or months either. We need to steel ourselves for the long fight ahead." That's coming approved from the White House yesterday. America, we better decide a couple of things. First of all, is our president competent? If he's making these kinds of mistakes, and they truly are mistakes because he just is not a gaffe machine, this is a very dangerous situation. If he's not competent, he should not be the president of the United States. And I know what that means. That means a world run by Kamala Harris. God help us all. But at least she would not make any sense and wouldn't be doing this stuff. Or are we being prepped for a war? It seems to me when Putin is talking about his first phase is done and everybody's looking for negotiations, and Putin seems to be looking for a way out of this, this is exactly the wrong kind of language to use. Where is the White House saying it looks like Putin may be done with the first phase, as they said, and it looks good. Maybe we have a bright future with a very quick war that has come to an end. Where's that encouragement? Instead, we need to steel ourselves for the long fight ahead. I think this administration wants war. I think they want a fight. They just don't want to release it yet. But that's what they're talking about in the White House, and he's just blowing the cover. That's my theory. But it's either that or the guy is totally incompetent and saying things that are very dangerous, that are not connected to any reality in the White House, and that should stop.